All right, kids, maintenance is over, and we've got the CYL7 refines. I think it's only the CYL refines that got posted so far. Not really sure about the remixes yet, but as we go over these guys, hopefully the remixes will be posted in due time. So let's start things off over here. So we got Brave Robin coming in first. Deliverer's Brand, 16 might, 1 range, HP up 3. Grants speed up 3. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%. Grants all stats of 5 to unit. Reduce damage from foes' first attack by 40%, including their Brave attack. Reduce damage from foes' attacks by 20% of unit's speed, and neutralizes, or basically tempo there. Neutralizes +1 charge and guard on unit, pretty much. So he's got tempo. Okay, also, at the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25% and unit triggers the Glowing Ember, Bonfire, or Ignis special during combat, calculate that attack's damage using the lower of foe's defense or res. Okay. Oh, he's got pass now. Unit can move through foe's spaces. Wow. I wasn't expecting them to give him pass. At start of turn, if unit is in 2 spaces of an ally, inflicts speed and res -7, sabotage, and frozen on the closest foe and foes within 2 spaces of those foes through the next actions. And then also, if unit initiates combat or if unit is in 2 spaces of an ally, grants a bonus to all stats equal to the number of allies in 3 rows of 3 columns, centered on unit times 2 plus 5 with a max of 14, and deals damage equal to 20% of unit speed during combat. Yeah, that's everything. Okay, interesting. I wasn't expecting them to give this guy pass. That's actually really good because he has a lot of warping. He can warp to an ally that has Rally Spectrum basically on them. So, yeah, it doesn't seem too shabby. They gave him a lot of true damage and true damage reduction based on speed also. Would have liked a little bit more damage when he procs Bonfire or Ignis. Like, maybe he does double damage when he procs either of the two. But, I don't know. That was probably just not likely to happen. Okay, let's go ahead and move on now to Brave Soren. Alright, so -1 special trigger. At start of turn, grants all stats of 6 and assign decoy to any support partner in 2 spaces of unit. Or if not on the team with a support partner, then the ally with the highest defense within 2 spaces for 1 turn. If unit is in 3 spaces of an ally, grants all stats during combat equal to 5, plus the highest bonus on each stat between allies in 3 spaces of unit. And reduce damage from foes' attacks by 20% of res, including AoEs. And also, if unit's res is better than the foe's res, reduce damage from attacks during combat and from AoEs by a percentage equal to the difference between stats. Yeah, who posted these? Railroader, they clipped off a little bit of the end here of Soren's primary effects. Alright, let's move on to the special effects here. At start of turn, if unit's HP is over 25%, inflicts attack and res -7, exposure and discord on the closest foes, and foes in 2 spaces of those foes through the next actions. At start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, grants a bonus to all stats equal to the number of foes in 3 rows of 3 columns, centered on unit times 2 plus 5 with a max of 11. Neutralize units' penalties to attack and res, and deals 20% of units' res during combat as damage. Okay. I was hoping they would let him do his assigned decoy at the start of player phase or enemy phase, so that he could at least do it in Aether Raid's defense if you've got him on the defense team at the start of the enemy's first attack. But nah, it's not going to work that way, unfortunately. So yeah, he's pretty much just a worse Brave Ector Deer, unfortunately. I was kind of looking forward to him the most, low-key. Alright, let's take a look at Corrin now. So, -1 special trigger if foe's range is 2, adaptive damage. After unit acts, applies Divine Vein Stone to unit space and spaces in 2 spaces for 1 turn. Really? Not at the start of enemy phase either? Both Corrin and Soren, I feel like, would have benefited from that. Like, being able to do their stuff at the start of enemy phase, because, I mean, we've already got Dedu, and we've got attuned Hector, who set up stone tiles right away. I was really expecting they were going to let her do that, too. But I guess not. Alright, whatever. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, inflicts all stats -5 on the foe. Neutralize effects that guarantee foes' follow-up attacks and prevent units' follow-up attacks. Reduce damage from foes' attacks by 30% and reduce damage from foes' attacks by 20% of unit speed during combat. Alright, then at the start of player phase or enemy phase, if unit is in 2 spaces of an ally, grants Draconic Hex and neutralize penalties on unit during combat to unit and allies in 2 spaces for 1 turn. Okay, that is nice that they gave her that. And then also, if unit is in 3 spaces of an ally, grants a bonus to all stats equal to the number of allies in 3 rows of 3 columns centered on unit times 2 plus 5 with a max of 11. And if unit triggers save, value is automatically 11. Unit deals +7 damage during combat. And also, if the foe's attack can trigger foe's special and unit's res is better than the foe's res +5, then inflicts Scowl on the enemy before their first attack. Yeah, I'm not really feeling these, honestly. Like, wow, they really did not care about CYL7. I think Robin got something nice, though. He got pass, at least. Alright, let's take a look at Gullveig here. Mommy Gullveig. So, enables Kanto Rem with a min of 1, -1 special trigger. If unit initiates combat or a bonus is active on unit, grants all stats of 5 to unit. Grants an additional bonus to all stats equal to the turn number times 2 with a max of 10. Deals damage equal to 20% of unit speed, including when dealing damage with an AoE, which is actually really nice because a lot of people just run AoEs on this Gullveig anyway. So that's pretty good. And then neutralize effects that guarantee foes follow-ups and prevent units follow-ups. So we got null follow-up there. Okay, and then for foes in 3 rows of 3 columns centered on unit, inflicts all stats -5, neutralize foes' bonuses, and foes suffer +10 damage from attacks during combat. Wow. They gave her the same exposure, like, drive bonus that the Duo Plumeria gets. That's pretty good. Then also, after Kanto, if unit entered combat on the current turn, grants another action to unit. Ooh, and re-enables Kanto. Okay, now we're cooking. Yeah, because she gets her extra action on her beast skill, if I'm not mistaken. So now she just gets another extra action to go on top of that. And then at the start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, grants a bonus to all stats equal to the number of foes in 3 rows of 3 columns centered on unit times 2 with a max of 6. And reduce damage from foes' first attack by 7 during combat on their first attack and brave attack. This is pretty solid. Like, I feel like Brave Gullveig definitely won. Because it seems like she's the only one that they seem to put any love and care and thought into. Like, Corrin and Soren are complete letdowns. I gotta be honest, man. I was hoping for a lot more from both of them. And then Robin, he got the pass effect, which is really nice. Lets him warp pretty easily with his C skill already giving him a lot of warping. So he can sneak up on people for sure. He can probably, if he's lucky, if he gets his cooldown charged up really easily, which it's very easy to get cooldown reduction right now. So he could just warp in and blow something up with a bigness to the face. But I'm not sure if he's actually going to do enough damage. That's why I was hoping like they would double his damage if he procs Ignis or Bonfire. They didn't actually do that. And it's not like you're running Gambit on this guy anymore. Gambit is way out of date nowadays. So I'm not really sure. I like the pass, like I said, is good, but that's really all he's got going for him. Gullveig just makes a lot of sense, and then RIP the 2 second place characters. Alright, are the rest of the refines in? Let's take a look here. Okay, well, here's the one for Askr. Okay, has gone ahead and posted everybody's, so we got Bertram, of course. Do we need to open these in separate tabs? Is this, like, zoomed in enough? I'm gonna do it in a separate tab anyway, just to get a little bit more zoom in. Yeah, because it'll probably be small. The text will be smaller for you guys on the YouTube video. Alright, then we got Veronica, and I believe Veronica is the last one. Yeah, and then we got Corrin and Soren and yada, 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 whatever. Okay, so let's start off with Bertram, a.k.a. Renning. So, they shafted this guy so badly on release. Hopefully they fix it. So he gets HP up 3, enables cancel Rem +1 with a min of 2, adaptive damage, which makes sense. I believe this guy had Rune Sword in Radiant, or not Radiant Dawn, but Path of Radiance. So yeah, adaptive damage makes sense. If unit initiates combat or number of allies adjacent to unit is greater than or less than 1, or less than or equal to 1. Imagine being greater than and less than at the same time. No, it's less than or equal to 1. Grants all stats of 5 to unit and reduce damage from foes' attacks by X times 4, excluding on AoEs. Reduce damage from foes' special by an additional X times 4 during combat. X is the number of spaces from starting to ending position of whoever moved, with a max of 3. And also, when unit deals damage to foe during combat, recovers 7 HP. So, yeah, they really just straight up gave him the Rune Sword, pretty much. Alright, then also for foes in 3 rows of 3 columns centered on unit, inflicts all stats -5 on the foe, inflicts guard on the foe per attack, and foes suffer guaranteed follow-ups. Yeah, that debuff is better than nothing. The rain, not really rain, but I guess Crux style of debuff. Like, they've been giving this to a lot of GHBs lately. Like Baby Xander and quote-unquote Fallen Fafnir. So, like, this is okay. It's always, like, always guaranteed to be a debuff as long as he's lined up with the enemies. At start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, deals damage equal to 20% of unit's defense during combat. Yeah, he's okay. Could have been a little better, honestly, but he's okay for what he is, which is a GHB. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at Askr now. Okay, so -1 special trigger, HP up 3. If unit initiates combat or is in 3 spaces of an ally, grants all stats of 5 to unit. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack, deals damage equal to 20% of unit's defense, and reduce damage from foes' attacks by 20% of unit's defense during combat. At start of turn, unit transforms if he's only adjacent to beasts or dragons or not adjacent to anyone. And then same old infantry beast transformation effect. Tempo, 7 true damage on special, attack up 2. Okay, what else? For allies in 3 rows of 3 columns center on unit, grants attack, defense, and res up 5. Neutralize penalties on ally and inflicts guard on the foe per attack during combat. Man, I was really holding out hope that they were going to give him like a drive support with Hardy Bearing. Because they gave him Hardy Bearing on his C skill, but I was like, man, if they only gave it to him on his weapon as well. Because Hardy Bearing has got to be the most coveted effect for basically anyone. Like, offensive units need it to tear through Dual Marth. And then defensive units need it to block desperation effects. Alright, whatever. If foe initiates combat or if unit's HP is over 25% at the start of combat, grants a bonus to unit's attack, defense, and res equal to the number of allies in 3 spaces unit times 2 plus 5 with a max of 11. Neutralize penalties on unit, inflicts guard on the foe per attack, and reduce damage, or reduce the percentage of foe's non-special DR by half. He's okay. I mean, it is nice they gave him more support on his weapon there, because that's mainly what you're going to use him for if you're running him for Aether Raid's offense. He's just going to stand there being a cheerleader. So, yeah, more drive support is nice. He's got some on his C skill. He's got some on his weapon now, so I guess that's fine. Alright, and then finally we have Legendary Veronica. So, -1 special trigger. If unit initiates combat or the number of allies adjacent to unit is less than or equal to 1, grants attack and speed up 6 to unit and neutralize effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks and prevent units follow-up attacks, and inflicts the following effects based on the number of foes in 2 spaces of target during combat. So if there's 1, then inflicts speed and res -4 on the foe, and if there's greater than or equal to 2, inflicts speed and res -8 on the foe and fire sweep, pretty much. And if unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up before the foe's next attack. Okay. At start of turn, if unit's HP is over 25%, grants attack and speed up 6, preempt pulse, and resonant blades to unit and allies in 2 spaces for 1 turn. At start of combat, if unit's HP is over 25%, grants a bonus to attack and speed equal to 10% of unit's speed at the start of combat plus 6. And unit deals plus X times 5 damage. excluding on AoEs. X is number of bonus effects on unit, and penalty effects on the foe with a max of 5. Okay, this is solid. When you combo this with her upgraded special, this is actually pretty good. Preempt Pulse is okay support. It's not like the craziest thing in the world, but it's okay. Resonant Blades is just more stats, which is fine. But, like, her special combined with, like, all the other stuff that she's doing here. She's getting true damage now. She's getting a lot of attack and speed here. 10% of her speed plus 6. She seems okay. She seems like she'll be solid. And she's got the debuff too, which is nice. So, yeah, I feel like Veronica fared a little better than Askr. Although Askr, to be fair, I mean, all he wants to do is support anyway. So, like, they kind of got him right in that regard. Man, I just really wish they would have gave him Hardy Bearing support, though. That's the one thing. So, yeah, overall, okay refines. Bertram kind of let me down. Honestly, 50%, well, 75%, honestly, of the CYL units let me down, too. It's really just Gullveig who I think got pretty much what she wanted here. Yeah, also the true damage plus 10 effect that she gets here is going to combo on her own AoE, which they want you to run her as an AoE unit. So, like, that's exactly what she wanted. But these two, Corrin and Soren, man, what were they thinking with these two? You can't let this guy do assign decoy at the start of turn 1 in Aetheroid's defense. And you can't let her set up the stone tiles at the start of turn 1 in Aetheroid's defense either. When we already have units that do that now, we got Brave Ectordeer, we got Attuned Hector, we got Dedu. It just seems a little unfair to me. But it is what it is. So yeah, Gullveig won. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And we will be coming back in just a sec for the rest of the data mines.